Good to have you once again.
Yeah.
So quickly, Nigerians, we know Nigerians are, doing breaking records abroad, or should I say, doing great things when it comes to sports and athletes generally. Your thoughts on Eniola Bolaji, first of all, before I get into the fact that, let's start with that. Your thoughts on her achievement?
I'd say that's beautiful because she's conquering a territory that is not so familiar to Nigerians as well as sport is concerned. We concentrate more on football, on track and field events, while leaving out sports like badminton. She's a young lad. She's just 19, and being the first African to win a medal in this particular sport, yes, badminton, in the last Olympics last year, winning bronze, and then capitalizing on that to win gold this time around. I think she's preparing for the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028, where she'll be coming out to represent Nigeria once more. I would say kudos to her. She deserves all the accolades she's been getting. We just hope it gets better from her.
And she's talking about other sports. You just let the cat out of the bag. I mean, we know in Nigeria here, there's so much focus on football generally. For you, do you think it's about time the new administration as a sport there, Nigeria Sports Commission, begin to pay more interest in other, sports as in badminton, cricket? For instance, cricket is ongoing, or it finished yesterday rather, the Moshood Abiola Oval, Twin Oval, and not so much was said about it. But I bet you if it was a football tournament for the under-17s, we would have the whole crowd or the whole media talking about it. So as a Nigerian, what would be your concern or what would be your advice to the National Sports Commission regarding sports like badminton, like you said?
I think it's high time we diversified into other sports, give more attention, more funding, more support to other sports like badminton, like even swimming and gymnastics. There are a whole lot of sports where the nation can, get more medals. As far as it comes to the Olympics and the All African Games, you're giving too much attention to football, and it's not helping matters at all. I mean, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, as it is, is one that is put together so that the sports can be used to harness the talent we have from the youths. Like I said, when we were coming, we used to hear of the Joy youths who are very good in swimming. Sometimes we ask, where are these guys when it comes to the Olympics? Why don't they represent the country very well in the swimming event? So if you take a look at other countries, like you said, the USA, but I think going to the US a reference will be too far. Let's come back to South Africa, back here in Africa, and see how they try to make sure that that these young lads are groomed from their boarding stage, from high schools. We have competitions where they participate, and from there they are followed up. I remember vividly Michael Phelps, who is a phenomenon in the swimming events. He started off as a very young lad, and today he's conquering, that event. So that is where the nation has to go down to, to harness these talents. Not when they are already old, you start looking for these talents. We just have to make sure that this thing is incorporated into school curricula, extracurricular activities where students, participate in sport actively, competitions where they are handsomely rewarded, and make sure that they participate fully, so as to bring out the best in them. So if that is done, I think we'll be having a better representation in the Olympics, the Africa Games, and other sports aside from football.
I think if I hear you correctly, all you're saying is catch them young.
Exactly.
Let's catch them young indeed. That's the voice of Justice Ali. Say catch them young from the grassroots, from the tender age, the primary school, the secondary school. Don't let them grow till they are big stars before we start looking for them to come and swear allegiance. That's how they call it in Nigeria. But now let's move away from badminton. Congratulations once again to Bolaji Eniola for grabbing that gold medal in that competition. I'm talking about the Spanish International Badminton Tournament in Victoria, right? They were really proud of her, and we hope that she keeps the feet going into further international competition. But now let's move to football. Matches went down in different leagues across the world, and they say charity begins at home. So we're starting here in Nigeria, where it was match day 28 in the Nigeria Premier League, talking about the NPFL. Ali, these were the results from match day 28. Which one would you say was the shocker for you? Should you do that Remo Stars, the league leaders who are still top of the table, that's why back-to-back defeats? Or should I say Imba getting the maximum win against Inform, maximum point against Inform Academy Warriors?
Not much of a big deal. Seeing the Imba pick up that 1-0 win against Academy Warriors, I was particularly shocked.
But Imba has not been in the best form lately. So
of course,
and Academy Warriors, on the other hand, nearly promoted their top 10 on the table.
sometimes in football, you don't go by present form, you go by the pedigree you have, Enyimba is the most successful Nigerian
Team.
club side, so no surprises for me. I'd like to talk about Badminton Insurance. They've been
Because
struggling, they've been very close to relegation. And I spoke about them some time ago on this program. That was a massive 2-1 win against Remo Stars,
inform Remo Stars.
who have been on top of the log for quite a long time. But then I just hope complacency doesn't creep in at this point, because even after this loss, they are still comfortably leading. They should know that they must drag themselves over the line to make sure that they win the league, because I have given it to them. They've been in superb form. They finished second, 2 seasons ago. This is just that time to grab hold of it. Since every other team that should have given them a good run for their money, like Enyimba and Rangers, are nowhere near. They only have Kano Pillars and Rivers United. They should just make sure they win the league this time around. Making sure they win the league means that they should bounce back from this loss, because if you take a look at their recent form, there's been a win-loss, win-loss.
Yeah.
You must maintain a certain level of consistency to win the league. They must rise to the occasion this time around and make sure that they clinch this league. Is the opportunity to do that. They've been coming very close. I just feel that season.
Looking about, still talking about the result, Enugu Rangers in particular, I mean, people will say Rangers is expected to have, dominated, looking at their form from last season, winning the league and coming back to defend the title. What do you think what happened to Rangers at the end of the day? Now they are top 5, yes, but the results have not been good so far, struggling between wins and draws and losses.
And so much as, as been going on with Rangers International, so much revamping, if you ask me, administratively, and probably that is having a toll on the team. But I know they will find their feet after some while. If they're able to just keep on going, and make sure they finish inside, the top 4 and pick up a continental ticket, then they can now regroup and see what they can do next season to challenge for the title.
Now the bottom part, we can't talk about the MPFL, we're talking about the bottom, the relegation zone. It's quite interesting right there.
The basement boys.
Yes, it's the basement boys. It's quite interesting right there, because if you look at the points from 16 to 18, from even 15, from even as far as 14 to 20, the point gap is not so different. For the 20, of course, we know the Lobby Stars, we don't know what's happening right there. Hopefully, somehow, some miracle happens, and the remaining 11 games or so, they get to win all of it and, get back on track. But now, look at those points, 34, 34, 34, 32, 32, and 28. Who do you think is going to get swim with this one, relegation zone?
With regards to Lobby Stars, I don't see any miracle happening. I
Okay.
think they've already lost it.
So back to the NNL.
It's now left for Aqua United, Sunshine Stars, and
Nasarawa
the other
United.
teams from Plateau United down, who are still within touching distance. 34 to 28, that is 6 points. Just 2 games can, undo all of that. So it's a title that will go down. It's a battle rather that will go down the wire. All of them should be very careful. Any one of them could go down.
Well, I think if you ask me, I put Nasarawa United. They are coming back so strong. Looking at the new coach, Salisu, the former Nigerian coach, Super Eagles coach, who is now in charge of them. Hopefully, they get to survive that. But we'll keep our fingers crossed as match day continues to unfold. This is just match day 28. Those are the current standings in the MPFL relegation battle. The struggle, the battle is real, and it's getting more tough. For the title, Remo Stars is still far ahead, despite back-to-back losses in the league. But now let's move from that now to the English Premier League. Also, matches went down in match day 28 in the English Premier League, one of the biggest leagues in the world. And as an Arsenal fan, how does this result, let me start with that, make you feel? An all draw with Manchester United. Arsenal battle is being dented by United, and United relegation struggle continues. Your thoughts on that result, first of all?
Well, for Manchester United, they've not been in good form, but like I said, pedigree, and this is a rivalry. And when it comes to Arsenal, they just have to wake up and see what they can do to get the results. If you watch that game, Arsenal dominated it. They should have been up by 3-0 even before the break. But then, against the run of play, Bruno Fernandes stepped up to take that free kick, and that gave them, the lead before Arsenal came back to equalize. Everyone knows Arsenal's problem is the missing piece of the jigsaw of the puzzle is a top 9. They refuse to sign a striker, even when fans have been crying out that Kai Havertz is not a natural goal-getter. Arteta and the board, didn't hit the call for a striker, and they are paying for that. They create a lot of chances, but they just don't know how to score those chances. Although they were able to do that against PSV Eindhoven, but I think that was just a flash
Okay.
in the pan. For Tottenham Hotspur, I
But,
expected them.
before you move forward, do you think Arsenal is missing Saka now? Because the talks before now was Saka was not too much of an impact, but we've seen that since Saka was on out so due to injury, they've not been getting points. Do you agree with that the line of thought that Arsenal Saka is like the brain or the box? Should I say the missing? Now that there's no 9.
Exactly, you said it all. Saka's absence makes it more glaring that Arsenal needs a 9. But in the absence of that 9, if Saka was fit, he would have been able to step up to get the results for them. Exactly what Mo Salah is doing for Liverpool. Liverpool do not have the best of strikers. You know, Darwin Núñez is not one you depend on to get you the goals. Mo Salah, 27 goals, 17 assists. He's leading the goal scoring chart. He's leading the assist chart. I mean, that is the kind of player you need in your team, to drag you over the line to win the title. And that is what Arsenal would have enjoyed if Saka was fit. But then, unfortunately, it's been out for like 2 months, and Arsenal are struggling.
All right, talking about Mo Salah now, that is the man right there. And Mo Salah currently breaking that record for the Premier League. He has joined the all-time top scorers list. Tiny there with talking about Sergio Aguero at 185. As at yesterday, as at the game, March 28th rather, he got that tally there. Mo Salah, your thoughts on this player as an African, and then the next African best player of the awards coming up, and also the Ballon d'Or talks are now talking about Mo Salah. Do you think with this feats that he has achieved with the Premier League, and if they get to win the title, he's part of the choice for Ballon d'Or and maybe the African best player of the year?
Well, there's just this little edge that the Spanish La Liga has over the Premier League. A player could win the Spanish La Liga and go ahead to win the Ballon d'Or. But when you win the Premier League, sometimes they don't give you enough credit and they don't see you good enough to win the Ballon d'Or. So Mo Salah, after winning the Premier League, which I am very sure they would, should also try as much as possible to get something, get to the Champions League finals at least, to increase his chances of winning the Ballon d'Or. They are already in the Carabao Cup final. So being in the Carabao Cup final, win or lose, and winning the Premier League and making the Champions League finals will give him a very big edge. If you take a look at other competitors like the Kylian Mbappe, Robert Lewandowski, and other players who would have given a good run for the year, still far off from his goal tally and assist. He's been on fire. He's been scoring. I mean, I can't remember the last match Liverpool played and Mo Salah did not score. He scores and he assists. And in no time, he's going to overcome, to surpass Manchester United's legend, who has 187 goals.
Yeah.
He's on 180.
Because there's
he's
still
on
8 more games to be played.
In just 3 matches,
right?
I think he will surpass that. I think Mo Salah is gradually becoming the greatest African to play in the Premier League.
So now let's look at other results in March 28th in the Premier League. Chelsea, OAS Chelsea, and Leicester City. They got that one there. They struggled to get that one there against Leicester City. Your thoughts on Chelsea and the amount of talent they have in that squad that has not been, coming up to live up to expectations so far?
The struggle continues. Chelsea as if trying to get that stability that I feel Reece James would have brought into the side. They just need a leader on the pitch, who would help them get things right when everything is wrong. Reece James is that player, but injuries is not allowing him to regularly play for Chelsea. And of course, Cole Palmer, they call Cold Palmer for his ability, to score penalties conveniently and even celebrate in a very unique style.
Shame the opponents
he's not on form right now.
Yeah.
Even missing a penalty yesterday goes a long way to show you that he's very deep in form. And for Chelsea to get out of this mess, they need Cole Palmer to step up and become the player he has always been. For Tottenham Hotspur against Bournemouth, a good result for Tottenham because Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, and Newcastle are teams that you don't joke with this season. They are in sublime form. And so I was surprised to see Tottenham being able to get that draw from Bournemouth. It's a very big result for them. But then I wonder if they were able to make it to the top half of the table at the end of the season.
Let's look up earlier on March 28th. That game that has been making headlines till today happened early on Saturday, but it's still in the headlines because of Man City, Pep Guardiola, and how they lost to Nottingham Forest. Your thoughts on this? What do you think is happening to Pep? I mean, he said he'll find his feet, but he's not still finding it, and the league is almost out. And Nottingham Forest, of course, Awoni and Olaino giving their best there.
If you ask me before the game, actually, I'll tell you that the best City can get out of that game would be a draw. But here they are. They lost 1-0. I'm not surprised because, like I said, Nottingham Forest are a team that is informed. They are chasing a Champions League spot, and Nuno Espirito Santo, the former Wolves manager, seems to be focused on making sure that it takes Nottingham Forest to Europe, Champions League next season. For Manchester City, since Rodri got injured, since Pep Guardiola had some marital issues, so many factors have come together to bring City down. They are trying to rebuild for next season, so I'm not expecting too much from City this time around. They should just try as much as they could to give Chelsea a good run for the money in the Champions League place.
All right, so quickly before we go, now let's take a look at the standing in the league. Now, Liverpool seem to have run away with the title, and Arsenal is just right there, waiting to see what happens. Hopefully, Liverpool gets to lose some of their games. But again, in the coming days, we'll see what happens. As an Arsenal fan, I say good luck to you. I keep my fingers crossed for you.
They've been tagged Netflix SC. Next season.
Next season. We'll continue from there. Thank you so much for being a part of the show this morning, Justice Ali. All right, that's our package on KAKAKI Sports.